In a world where many of us take religious freedom for granted, there are places where simply owning a Bible can put your life at risk. Welcome to our eye-opening countdown of the top 10 countries where the Bible is banned in 2024. These aren't just cold statistics, they represent real people, living in fear, unable to freely practice their faith. Join us as we explore these shocking realities and the brave individuals who risk everything for their beliefs. Number 10. Nigeria, a country of over 216 million people, where your religious freedom depends entirely on where you live. In this land of contrasts, Christianity thrives in some regions while being brutally suppressed in others. It's a stark reminder that even in the 21st century, your zip code can determine whether you're free to read the Bible, or if doing so could cost you your life. Nigeria boasts an estimated 60 million Christians and 10,000 churches nationwide. Yet, in certain regions, particularly in the north, owning a Bible is like carrying a ticking time bomb. The persecution level here is severe, with Christians facing threats, not just from the government but from extremist groups as well. It's a daily tightrope walk between faith and survival. The situation in Nigeria is complex, with religious tensions often intertwining with ethnic and political conflicts. Christians in affected areas live in constant fear of raids, kidnappings, and violent attacks. Many have been forced to flee their homes, becoming internally displaced in their own country. The simple act of attending a church service or carrying a Bible can make you a target. Despite these challenges, the resilience of Nigerian Christians is remarkable. Underground churches continue to operate, and believers find innovative ways to study Scripture, often using digital versions of the Bible to avoid detection. International organizations work tirelessly to support these communities, but the road to religious freedom in all of Nigeria remains long and fraught with danger. Number 9. Mauritania, a vast desert nation on the Atlantic coast of Africa. With a population of 4.7 million, you might expect some religious diversity. But for the estimated 1,000 Christians in Mauritania, life is a constant struggle to keep their faith hidden from prying eyes in this Islamic republic. There are no churches. Imagine trying to practice your faith without a single place of worship. It's not just difficult, it's dangerous. The government has placed a complete ban on Christian activities, including owning a Bible. For believers here, every day is a test of faith and courage. Human rights violations against Christians are rampant in Mauritania. If you're caught with a Bible, you could face imprisonment or even execution. It's a harsh reality that forces many believers to practice their faith in secret, always looking over their shoulder. The government's strict interpretation of Islamic law leaves no room for religious freedom. Despite these oppressive conditions, Christianity persists in Mauritania. Small groups of believers meet in absolute secrecy, often in remote desert locations. They memorize Scripture to avoid the risk of owning physical Bibles. Foreign workers, who make up a significant portion of the Christian population, live in constant fear of deportation if their faith is discovered. Yet, against all odds, the flame of faith continues to burn in the hearts of Mauritanian Christians. Number 8. Eritrea, a country of 6.4 million people nestled in the Horn of Africa. Here, the situation for Christians is nothing short of extreme. Despite an estimated 50,000 Christians in the country, there are no official churches. It's a place where your faith can make you an enemy of the state. Imagine living in a country where your religious beliefs are considered a threat to national security. In Eritrea, that's the daily reality for Christians. The government has implemented a complete ban on Christian activities, viewing the Bible as a dangerous book that must be suppressed at all costs. It's a place where faith and patriotism are seen as mutually exclusive. Reports of human rights abuses against Christians in Eritrea are horrifying. Many believers find themselves in prison, subjected to inhumane conditions, simply for owning a Bible or attending a prayer meeting. Some are held in shipping containers in the desert, enduring extreme temperatures and lack of sanitation. It's a stark reminder of the price some pay for their faith. Despite this oppression, the Christian community in Eritrea shows remarkable resilience. Underground churches continue to operate, with believers meeting in small groups in homes or remote locations. Many Eritrean Christians have fled the country, forming diaspora communities that work tirelessly to support their brothers and sisters back home. International pressure continues to mount on the Eritrean government, but change comes slowly in this tightly controlled nation. Number 7. Yemen, with a population of 30.9 million, Yemen is a nation in crisis. Amidst the chaos of civil war, the estimated 1,000 Christians in Yemen face extreme persecution, adding another layer of hardship to their already challenging lives. Yemen is a country where the Bible is strictly banned, and being caught with one could lead to imprisonment or even execution. It's hard to imagine living in a place where your holy book is considered a crime. For Yemeni Christians, faith comes at an incredibly high price. There are no churches in Yemen, none. Christian activities are completely banned. Believers must practice their faith in utmost secrecy, always at risk of being discovered. The ongoing civil war has created a power vacuum that extremist groups have exploited, further increasing the danger for religious minorities. The situation for Christians in Yemen is further complicated by the humanitarian crisis gripping the country. Famine, disease, and conflict have left millions in need of aid. For Christian converts from Islam, accessing this aid can be particularly challenging, as they may be ostracized from their communities. Despite these overwhelming odds, small groups of believers continue to meet in secret, drawing strength from their faith and each other. Number 6. Afghanistan, a country that's been in the global spotlight for decades. With a population of 40.2 million, Afghanistan has long been a place of conflict and upheaval. For the estimated 10,000 Christians in Afghanistan, life is a daily battle not just for survival, but for the right to believe. Afghanistan has a complete ban on Christian activities. Owning a Bible, attending a church service, or even discussing your faith openly can lead to severe consequences. It's a place where converting to Christianity is considered a capital offense. The concept of religious freedom is virtually non-existent here. There are no official churches in Afghanistan. Christians must practice their faith in absolute secrecy, always at risk of being discovered. The level of persecution is extreme, with reports of believers facing imprisonment, torture, and even execution. It's a grim reminder of the cost of faith for some around the world. The situation for Afghan Christians has become even more precarious in recent years. Political instability and the resurgence of extremist groups have created an environment of intense fear and suspicion. Many Afghan Christians have been forced to flee the country, seeking asylum in nations where they can practice their faith freely. Those who remain must be incredibly cautious, often isolating themselves from family and friends to protect their secret. Despite these challenges, reports suggest that the underground church in Afghanistan continues to grow, a testament to the enduring power of faith in the face of oppression. Number 5. Somalia, a country of 16.4 million people on the Horn of Africa. Here, the situation for Christians is nothing short of dire. With only an estimated 1,000 Christians in the entire country, it's like being a drop in an ocean of hostility. In Somalia, the Bible is strictly forbidden. Being caught with one could lead to imprisonment or worse. The government has implemented a complete ban on all Christian activities, viewing the religion as a threat to national unity and Islamic culture. It's a place where religious identity is intrinsically linked to national identity, leaving no room for diversity of belief. There are no churches in Somalia. Christians must practice their faith in absolute secrecy, always at risk of being discovered by authorities or extremist groups. The level of persecution is extreme, with reports of believers facing torture and execution. It's a stark reminder of the price some pay for their beliefs. The challenges for Somali Christians are compounded by the country's ongoing struggles with conflict, poverty, and instability. Many believers are converts from Islam, who face not only government persecution but also the threat of honor killings from their own families and communities. The presence of extremist groups adds another layer of danger. Yet, even in this hostile environment, there are reports of a growing underground church. Somali Christians often meet in small groups, constantly changing locations to avoid detection. Their resilience in the face of such overwhelming odds is truly inspiring. Number 4. Maldives, with its stunning beaches and luxury resorts, it's hard to imagine this island nation of 500,000 people as a place of extreme religious persecution. But for the estimated 1,000 Christians living here, paradise feels more like a prison. In the Maldives, the Bible is completely banned. Owning one, importing one, or even reading one online could land you in serious trouble. The government maintains a tight grip on religious practices, allowing only Islam as the state religion. It's a place where the concept of religious freedom is as foreign as the tourists who flock to its shores. There are no churches in the Maldives. Christian activities are strictly forbidden, forcing believers to practice their faith in utmost secrecy. It's a place where even tourists are warned not to bring religious materials. Imagine living in a place where your faith is considered a threat to national identity, where expressing your beliefs could result in loss of citizenship. The situation for Christians in the Maldives is further complicated by the country's geography. It's spread across 1,192 coral islands. The population is isolated and tightly knit, making it nearly impossible for believers to find community or support. Many Christians in the Maldives are expatriate workers who must hide their faith to keep their jobs. Maldivian converts face even greater risks. including ostracism from their families and communities. Despite these challenges, there are reports of a small but growing underground church, with believers finding creative ways to encourage each other and practice their faith in secret. Number 3. Iran, a country of 85.2 million people. Despite its rich history and culture, Iran is known for its severe restrictions on religious freedom, particularly for its estimated 300,000 Christians. It's a nation where the battle between faith and law plays out daily in the lives of believers. In Iran, the Bible is banned. Possessing one, distributing one, or even discussing its contents openly can lead to arrest, imprisonment, and in some cases, execution. It's a place where converting from Islam to Christianity is considered apostasy, a crime punishable by death. The government views Christianity, especially evangelicalism, as a Western attempt to undermine the Islamic regime. There are no official churches for converts in Iran. The few churches that do exist are closely monitored and restricted to ethnic minorities. Christians, especially converts, must practice their faith in secret house churches, always at risk of being raided. It's a sobering reminder of the lengths some governments will go to control religious expression. Despite these severe restrictions, Christianity is reportedly one of the fastest-growing religions in Iran. The underground church movement is strong, with believers meeting in homes and sharing resources at great personal risk. Many Iranians are turning to Christianity through online ministries and satellite TV programs. The Iranian diaspora plays a crucial role in supporting believers inside the country. While the government continues its efforts to stamp out Christianity, the resilience and courage of Iranian Christians continue to inspire people around the world. Number 2. Saudi Arabia, a country of 35.3 million people and the birthplace of Islam. Here, the situation for Christians is severe, with an estimated 1.2 million believers living under strict religious laws. In this cradle of Islam, practicing any faith other than the state-sanctioned version of Islam is a dangerous endeavor. In Saudi Arabia, the Bible is strictly forbidden. Importing, distributing, or owning a Bible can lead to arrest, imprisonment, and deportation for foreign workers. For Saudi nationals, the consequences can be even more severe. It's a place where religious police actively seek out and punish those who deviate from strict Islamic law. There are no official churches in Saudi Arabia. The practice of any religion other than Islam is banned in public. Christians, mostly foreign workers, must worship in secret, always at risk of being discovered. It's a place where even private religious gatherings in homes can lead to raids and arrests. The situation is particularly challenging for Saudi converts to Christianity, who face not only legal consequences but also the risk of honor killings by their own families. Many are forced to flee the country to practice their faith freely. Despite these extreme conditions, there are reports of a growing number of Saudi Christians, largely due to the internet and satellite TV, which provide access to Christian teachings. The Saudi government has shown some signs of relaxing certain social restrictions in recent years, but religious freedom remains a distant dream for the country's Christian population. Number 1. North Korea. In this isolated nation of 25.9 million people, religious freedom is non-existent. For the estimated 300,000 Christians living here, life is a constant struggle for survival. North Korea stands alone in its total suppression of religious freedom, making it the most dangerous place in the world to be a Christian. In North Korea, the Bible is considered a threat to the state ideology. Owning one, reading one, or even being suspected of believing in its teachings can lead to imprisonment in brutal labor camps, torture, and execution. It's a place where the government demands absolute loyalty, viewing religion as a dangerous foreign influence that must be eradicated. There are no official churches in North Korea. The few state-controlled churches that exist are widely believed to be propaganda tools for international visitors. Real Christian worship happens in deep secret, with believers risking everything to practice their faith. Entire families can be sent to labor camps if one member is discovered to be a Christian. The level of surveillance and control in North Korea is unparalleled. The state's ideology, known as Juche, is enforced as a pseudo-religion, with the country's leaders revered as divine figures. Despite this oppressive environment, Christianity persists. Underground churches operate in extreme secrecy, with some believers meeting in groups as small as 2 or 3 to avoid detection. Many North Korean Christians have never seen a physical Bible, instead memorizing scripture shared orally. The faith of these believers, maintained in the face of unimaginable persecution, stands as a powerful testimony to the enduring nature of religious conviction. As we conclude our journey through these 10 countries, it's important to remember that behind every statistic is a human story. People risking their lives for their beliefs, families torn apart by persecution, communities living in constant fear. These are not just tales from a distant past, but the daily reality for millions in our world today. In a world that often takes religious freedom for granted, these stories serve as a stark reminder of the ongoing struggle for this basic human right. They challenge us to think about what we can do to support those who can't freely read their holy books or practice their faith. So the next time you pick up a Bible, remember those who can't. Remember the estimated 300,000 believers in North Korea, the 1.2 million in Saudi Arabia, and countless others around the world who long for the freedom to practice their faith openly. Their courage and resilience in the face of oppression is a powerful testament to the strength of the human spirit. This has been our countdown of the top 10 countries where the Bible is banned in 2024. But it's more than just a list, it's a call to awareness, to compassion, and to action. What will you do with this knowledge? How can we work towards a world where religious freedom is a reality for all? Thank you for joining us on this eye-opening journey. Until next time, keep these stories in your hearts and minds and let them inspire you to make a difference in whatever way you can.